सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। We are going through the Sambandha Bhashya, the introductory Bhashya, where Bhashyakara creates or builds up the background of how this text, consisting of 4 chapters, is the pramanam, the means of knowledge, that it focuses on one aspect, namely the Jiva Brahma Aikyam, and that the text must be studied because it has or possesses Anubandha Chatushtayam. The prayojanavat sadhana abhivanjakatvena abhideya sambandham shastram paramparayena vishish sambandh abhideya prayojanavat bhavati. Prayojanavat sadhanam. Moksha lakshanam phalam brahmajnanasya ishyate. So the question is, how does the Shastra become the means of the Prayojanam or Moksha? Moksha is Prayojanam. Brahmajnana sishyate. Brahmajnanam gives rise to Moksha. How does Shastra give rise to Moksha? Na Shastra prakaranayo iti ashankya. Shastra means Vedanta Shastra. Prakarana means this Prakarana Chatushtaya, Mandukya and Karika. So how are they possessed of these Prayojana, Abhideya, Prayojanam? Prayojanam means the Moksha, and that is only served by Brahmajnanam, not by Shastra. So Prayojanavat sadhana abhivyanjakatvena. Sadhanam certainly is Brahmajnanam. Abhivyanjakatvena. Shastra is not Brahmajnanam, but Shastra is Brahmajnana abhivyanjakam. It brings to light Brahmajnanam. Abhideya Sambandham Paramparyena. So Shastra or the Prakaranam is not the direct means of moksha, but they become Paramparyena indirectly or remotely by generating Brahmajnanam. So, Satyam Moksha Sadhanam Brahmatmaikatva Jnanam. It is true that Brahmatmaikatva Jnanam, the knowledge of the identity of Brahman Atma, that I am Brahman, that knowledge is Moksha Sadhanam. In what way we said yesterday that moksha is already an accomplished fact. Moksha means freedom, liberation, purnatvam, wholeness, completeness, which is Brahman. So recognizing that I am Brahman, although right now there are conclusions that I am a Jivatma, I am subject to birth and death, subject to pleasure and pain, limited in time, place and in every way. This is presently my conclusions about myself. In the study of the scriptures, listening to the unfoldment of Shastra from the teacher, makes me see how these conclusions or opinions are wrong. In what way they are wrong? How on account of the identification of different aspects of my personality with the body, for example, the body is subject to birth and death. On account of taking body as myself, I think that I am subject to birth and death. The upadhi is limited in time, place. I think I am limited in time and place. So jivatvam or the sense of limitation is purely the result of taking this body, mind, sense complex as I. And that is the result of the ignorance. So the Shastra makes me see how the various conclusions I have about myself are notion they are Brahma. So Brahma Nivritti takes place. Tasya Janakam Shastra. In this manner, Shastra makes me see that I am not what I take myself to be. In fact, I am Brahman. So Tasya Janakam Shastradi. Shastradi means Shastra, this Prakarana Grantha also. Shastra is Vedanta Shastra Brahma Sutra. This one Prakaranam, which delineates one part of it, namely Jiva Brahma Aikyam. And that Jiva Brahma Aikyam, Aikyam the identity between Jiva and Brahma, that one who takes himself as Jiva is in fact Brahman. Tasya Janakam. Shastram becomes the means of generating this knowledge in me. It makes me think. It makes me think about my own self. And this shows how, as I say, the various notions I have are all, conclusions are notions. And what my true nature is. Tad bhavena jnana vyavadhanena. Most therefore, Shastra generates knowledge, and knowledge is a means of moksha. So there is a vyavadhana between Shastra and moksha. There is an intermediate factor, and that is jnana. But still, brahmana vishayena sambandha. That means that Shastra also is indirectly the means of moksha by generating the knowledge of the identity of Jiva and Brahma. So, Shastram Paramparyena Vishishta Sambandha Abhideya Prayojanavad Bhavati. This is a different kind of these Vishishta Sambandha Abhideya. Not the sambandha, abhideya, prayojanam like karmakanda. Karmakanda's prayojanam is swarga. Is abhideya is so. Prayojanam is swarga sukham. Abhideya is swarga. Sambandha is chodya chodaka. Then after knowing about swarga, perform the karma and then you attain swarga. Vishishta. Here all you need is the knowledge there. Knowledge of swarga is not enough. After knowing swarga, then and also knowing the means of swarga, the jyotishtama, when it is impelled to perform that karma. So therefore, distinguishing this shastra from the karma kanda. That is very important to establish because Mimamsakas look upon the whole Veda as one text. For them, the Jnana Kanda or Upanishad does not enjoy separate states of Shastra, is included. So they only establish or show how Jnana Kanda serves the purpose of Karma Kanda. It does not serve an independent purpose. In that case, Jnana Kanda does not deserve to be commented upon if it does not serve independent purpose. Therefore, the Vedantin has to establish that Jnana Kanda or Upanishad serves an independent purpose, had independent prayojanam. Swarga is prayojanam here, moksha is prayojanam here. Dharma is the means there, sadhanam. Brahmajnana is the means of sadhanam. Chodya chodaka sambandha is there that impels you to perform karma. Pradipadya Pradipadaka Shastra simply unfolds or reveals the nature of Brahman, and that knowledge is all that you need. So Vishishta Sambandha Abhideya Prayojanvat Bhavati. That is why this is worth commenting upon. Understand? If this is only part of the Karma Kanda, meaning it is not independent of Karma Kanda, then by commenting upon Karma Kanda, you already taken care of this. It's like an appendix. So Vedantin has to establish that Jnana Kanda or Upanishad is an independent prakaranam. It's its own Anubandha Chatushtaya. Anubandha Chatushtaya is what distinguishes one text from the other, or one section from the other, one prakaran from the other. So Karma Kanda is one Anubandha Chatushtaya, Jnana Kanda is another one, and therefore this text, Prakaranam, which same has the same prayojan etc. as Shastra, should be commented upon. Kim punatat prayojanam iti? So, what is the prayojanam? Because we said prayojanam is Swarga. What is this prayojan you are talking about? How can Jnanam become the means of achieving the end? Karma alone can become the means of achieving the desired end. You have to do something to achieve something. How come you claim that simply by knowledge you achieve the goal of life? How can it be? Rogartha seva, roga nivrittu swasthata. That a person such as Devadatta's nature is swasthata. Health is the natural state of the body. Rogartha seva, he becomes inflicted by disease. Roga nivritto, therefore by administering medicine to this person, roga nivritti, because roga or disease is an agantuka, is something incidental. It's not inherent in the body. This is a theory. The roga or disease is not inherent in the body. Swasthata or health is inherent in the body. And disease is an agantuka, is an incidental thing. Therefore it can be removed. Swasthata, just as a piece of sandalwood may be stinking because of contact with water. The sting is not natural to sandalwood. It is incidental. Therefore, it can be removed by rubbing it against a stone, and the chandanam, the sandalwood, gains its swasthada, its own nature of fragrance. So, fragrance was obstructed by this incoming or incidental stink. So, also health is obstructed by the incidental disease. When the disease is removed, you get swasthada, health back. Meaning, health is not achieved. Health is already achieved because that's the nature of body. It's only the coming in of the disease that created the notion that I am not healthy. By removal of the disease, that notion goes away and I discover myself to be healthy again. तथा दुःखात्मकस्य आत्मनः द्वैत प्रपंचोपशमे स्वस्थता. दुःखात्मकस्य आत्मनः meaning dukkha vishistasya. Atma that feels that I am dukkhi. So when I say I am dukkhi, then looks like dukkha is my nature. That's called dukkhi. But then dukkha is not my nature. Dukkha is superimposed upon Atma. So I am dukkhi when I say that. The I and dukkha seem to enjoy the same degree of reality. That's not so. I am is real, dukkha is superimposed. Dukkhatmakasya atmanah dvaita prapancha upashame. With dvaita prapancha, I realize that the anatma is not real. Right now the upadhi is given the same degree of reality as atma. Therefore I think the body, mind, I am is atma. Dvaita prapanchasya upashame. But the Dvaita prapancha, meaning all this universe and body, mind, sense complex, all of this is mithya, is incidental, is an appearance. And therefore my conclusion that I am dukkhi also born of the identification with this Dvaita prapancha, anatma, the body, mind, sense complex, also is mithya. And therefore, when by the knowledge of the Atma, this notion that I am dukkhi goes away, then not that I have achieved the sukha, sukham which is my nature, has been owned up. So just as by the removal of disease one owns up one's status of being healthy, so also by removal of the notion of dukkha, I own up my nature of being happiness, sukha. Advaita bhava prayojanam. Therefore, what is prayojanam? Advaita bhava, the state of non-duality of Jiva and Brahman. Dvaita prapanchasya avidya krutatvat vidya tadupashamasyaaditi brahma vidya prakashanaya asya arambha kriyate. So, prayojanam is gaining back one's own true nature. It is as though a separation from my true nature, which perceived separation is created by ignorance, which makes me identify with upadhi, and thereby I suffer from a sense of limitation. Advaita Maha, when I realize that my true nature is Brahman, then Dvaita prapanchasya avidya krutatvat. This notion that I am dukkhi is avidya krutatvat. And that notion generates the whole universe, by the way. Dvaita prapanchasya avidya krutatvat, the whole Dvaita prapancha, the whole universe consisting of these varieties and divisions is all product of ignorance. What ignorance? Ignorance of my own true nature. When I do not know that I am limitless, I take myself as limited, then arises desire to become free from limitation. That brings out the karma, and that's how the creation comes. Dvaita prapanchasya avidya krutatvat. At least that is Ishvara Srushti. But Jiva Srushti is identification with this body, mind, sense complex that creates this notion Dukhyaham, this avidyakrutattvat, vidya tadupashamasyat. But the knowledge that notion I am Dukhi ceases, there is a cessation of that notion. And when dukkha goes away, sukha, which is my nature, becomes manifest, evident to me. Iti Brahma Vidya Prakashanaya asya arambha kriyate. Therefore, for Brahma Vidya Prakashanam, for bringing to light the nature of Brahman, is the purpose of this text. न च द्वैतस्य अविद्याकृतस्य विद्यमानदेहत्वे प्रमाणमस्तीति. How do you say that this Dvaita is avidyakrutam? You mean this body is product of ignorance? Vidyamandehatve pramanamasti. Where is the proof or evidence that this prapancha is all created by ignorance? Anvivatireka anuvidhani. So Shruti, we discussed yesterday, yatra dvaitam eva bhavati, where as though there is duality. Yatra va anya divasya tatra anya anyat pashet anya anyat vijaniyat. Yatra anya divasya, where there is as though anyat or the other, then the drashta, the seer sees, the hearer hears something else, the perceiver perceives something else. This is the duality of the perceiver and perceived. Hear and heard is Dvaitam. And even that is as though, because when you analyze, as we said yesterday, yatra dosya saram atma bhut. When we analyze what's the nature of the drashta, dusya, darshanam, the perceiver, they perceive the perception. That's a duality. When analyze what the nature is, each one turns out to be nothing but consciousness. In drashta also, the changeless element is drishti or consciousness. In drishya also, the name and form, what is really the asthibhati priyam, that which illumines the name and form, consciousness. The darshanam also, the ghatakar vritti also there, the vritti is nothing but manifestation of consciousness, has taken that form. The consciousness has taken the form of drashta, drishya, darshanam, drishti, drashta, drishya, darshanam. Yatrudasya swaram atmaiva bhut. So when one sees that all there is drishti, all there is consciousness, all there is Atma, then there is no separate drashta from drishya. Tat kenakam pashet, kenakam vijaniyat. The duality of the perceiver perceived does not remain anymore. And a wise person may be interacting with the world and acting as though he is a drashta or perceiver, but in his mind there is a clear knowledge that this perceiver is mithya. In fact, all I am is consciousness, only therefore playing the role of a perceiver. So when he is not transacting in the world, there is no duality of perceiver, perceived, perception. Even when he is transacting with the world, then his duality is mithya, like an actor. Ityadi shrutibhya asyarthasya siddhi. So shruti is a pramana here. Of course, because this agama, this whole prakranam is based on agama or shruti, therefore Bhashyakara is presenting shruti as the pramanam for these views that he is presenting. There is also yukti, but yukti is only secondary, primary is the shruti. Then continuing, on the page 7 of your handout, विषय प्रयोजनादि अनुबंधोपन्यास मुखेन ग्रंथारंभे स्थिते. So Bhashyakara has first established that this grantha, this text beginning with Omkara, Om Ityadagam Sarvam, that text, Mandukya Upanishad, and Karika is looked upon as one prakaranam, is worth commenting upon. It deserves to be commented upon. Why? Because it possesses the independent Anubandha Chatushtaya, and that it contains Prayojanam, Moksha, Sadhanam, Brahmatmika Jnanam, Sambandha Pratipadya Pratipadaka, and of course Adhikari is understood as Mumukshu. So it has independent Anubandha Chatushtaya, and therefore it deserves to be commented upon, otherwise it does not. Vishaya Prayojanadi Anubandha Upanyasa Mukhena, by presenting Anubandha Chatushtaya, Vishaya Prayojana, etc., Grantharambhe Sthite, therefore Grantha Arambha, this Grantha is an independent text, and therefore the Vyakhyana also, it deserves to be commented upon. Ado Prakarana Chatustasya Pratyekam Asankirnam Prameyam. You say that a Prakarana Chatushtayam. This text contains 4 Prakaranas, text, Upanishad and Karika together becomes one text, is divided into 4 chapters. First is Agama Prakaranam, second is Vaitatya Prakaranam, third is Advaita Prakaranam, fourth is Alada Shanti Prakaranam. So the names of the Prakaranam. So why do you call them different prakarana if each one of them has a distinct purpose to serve? Asankirnam, Prameyam. Each one has a distinct subject matter. That is why there are 4 prakaranas. Pratipatti Saukaryartham Suchaitavyam. Before you proceed to explain this first chapter also, we should have an idea of what whole text we are going to study. And therefore, for easy understanding Bhashyakara, first here delineates what is the specific subject matter of each prakarana or each chapter. Tatra tavat. When this is the case that now this text is to be commented upon, that it consists of 4 prakaranas, then what is the subject matter of the first prakarana? Tatra tavat Omkara Nirnaya Prathamam Prakaranam Agama Pradhanam Atma Tattva Pratipatti Upaya Bhutam. So Prathamam Prakaranam, the first chapter, Agama, it's called Agama Prakaranam. Agama means the traditional knowledge traditionally coming down to us. Parampara, from the teacher, student, parampara, from the Vriddha Sammati or Vriddha Parampara. In this case, Veda. So Vedic knowledge also is parampara, is coming down to us. Therefore, Agama Prakaranam, the first chapter of this text, which is what we are going to study, has predominance of Agamam, predominance of only Upanishad. There may be a little bit of reasoning here and there, but then primarily the subject matter is to reveal what the Agama, the Upanishad says. So Upanishad forms the important part of the first chapter. Tannirnaya Prakaranarabdhamiti Uktam. So Omkara Nirnaya Prathamam Prakaranam. It's interesting. The first chapter is for Omkara Nirnaya. Nirnaya, for to ascertain the meaning of what Omkara is, or ascertain what Omkara is the purpose of the first chapter. Not so much the ascertainment of Atma. It's interesting. The first chapter is devoted to ascertaining what is the meaning of Omkara. तन्निर्णय प्रमाण अभावात् तस्य अनुपयोगित्वात्. So, where is the pramanam that Omkara Nirnaya is upayogi? Where is the pramanam, the evidence that Omkara Nirnaya, ascertaining Omkara, serves the purpose? Because Atma Pratipatti, what serves the purpose in life is knowledge of Atma, not knowledge of Omkara. So then why does Upanishad devote itself to ascertaining the meaning of Omkara? So Agama ityadi, so Agama pradhanam Atma Tattva Pratipatti Upaya Bhutam. The first chapter is Agama Pradhanam, where Agama or Upanishad in Veda or Upanishad is the Pradhanam. Atma Pratipatti Upaya Bhutam. Omkara Nirnaya. Ascertaining the meaning of Omkara is Upaya Bhutam, is a means of Atma Pratipatti, means of knowledge of Atma. So this is what this Upanishad's uniqueness is. That understanding Omkara is understanding Atma. Knowing Omkara is knowing Atma. This is what the Upanishad says. That's a unique prakriya this Upanishad presents. Tadupadesha pradhanam mandukame vyakhya Supanishad vyakhyana rupam. Therefore, this Mandukya Upanishad becomes a vyakhya of the Vedas which are devoted to ascertaining. So this is a Vedic knowledge. In Vedas, Vedas themselves are devoted to ascertaining the meaning of Omkara. And this is what Veda says, that's called Agama. And Mandukya Upanishad takes that part and is a vyakhya, is an explanation or exposition of how the Vedas themselves say that understanding, knowing Omkara is knowing Atma, or ascertaining meaning Omkara is the means of self-knowledge. Tena tatra pramanyat. So here the pramanam is Agama in the first chapter. With Agama, it declares, it reveals the nature of reality. When we say that Shastra is the pramanam, Shabda is the pramanam, what is pramanam? Pramanam is that which reveals its corresponding object. Like right now, you are listening to this verse, so your organ of hearing is the pramanam, means of knowledge which reveals this verse. Similarly also, Agama or Veda is pramanam to reveal the knowledge of truth. And Agama or Vedas themselves present Omkara as a means of knowing Atma. So this is what you find, and that is what Mandukya Upanishad takes that part from the Vedas and comments upon that. So Tat Upadesha Pradhanam Mandukya Upanishad Vyakhyana Rupam. Therefore, Agama which reveals or says that Omkara is the means of Atma Jnanam, Mandukya Upanishad becomes a Vyakhyanam upon that Agama. Tena tatra pramanyat ukto nirnaya seshyati. And therefore, since this Mandukya first chapter is only subservient to what Agama or Veda says, therefore that also becomes a pramanam. Veda is pramanam, so this Upanishad also becomes pramanam. And therefore, it is worth commenting upon. If it is not pramanam, then we don't comment upon that. Yat atmana tattvam anaropitam tat pratipatti upayatvat. And so, this Omkara Nirnaya is important. What is Tattvam? Anaropitam Tattvam. So that Anaropitam is not Aropitam, not superimposed. That is called Tattvam. Because Tattvam comes with superimposition. We experience Tattvam all the time. We experience Atma all the time, Brahman all the time, and that's all that we experience. Because there is nothing other than Brahman or Atma. So whatever we are experiencing is Brahman. As our own self. Upon that Aropa takes place. What is not self is superimposed, and that's how in our experience there are both the aspects, Anaropitam Tattvam and the Aropa. We experience the Anaropita Atma as it is, Satchidananda. Upon that there is Aropa of the Upadhi, Ahankara, Mamakara. Therefore, the Arupa part has to be seen as Aropa, and this Anaropitam is Tattvam is to be known as the self. Tat Pratitso Omkara Nirnaya. Ascertainment of the Omkara becomes the means of knowing Atma, which is devoid of all the superimpositions. So we can remove all superimpositions and know Atma as it is with the help of Omkara. That's what you do. What is meant by our knowledge of Atma is knowing Atma as it is. Because Atma is always known. As we said yesterday, no knowledge can take place without the knowledge of Atma. Atma is always known along with superimposition. So identification of the body, mind, sense complex is habitual, and therefore with that alone this pratipatti takes place. Means I know myself as karta, bhokta, sukhi, dukhi, the stri, purusha, etc., etc. So always aropa is there. Recognizing aropa as aropa and the anaropitam as my true nature, that's how the process of knowledge takes place. Omkara becomes a means of knowing anaropita Atma, and therefore it is pramanam. In this text also, which unfolds Omkara, becomes pramanam. Tat pratipattesya mukti phalatvat. Knowing Atma, devoid of aropa, as I am, is a means of moksha, and therefore Omkara Nirnaya is to be done. Therefore this Upanishad is studied. What we are interested is moksha. Except moksha happens to our nature. If that is my nature, then how come I do not experience moksha right now? Because upon I, that is mukta, liberated, upon that I habitually superimpose the non-I, the limited, like the chocolate with the wrapper. And therefore, the limitations of the body, mind, sense complex are taken to be my limitation, and therefore I, as though, experience myself as a limited being. Therefore, that limitation is a sense, like a disease. Is agantuka, is incidental. Therefore, by knowing the true nature of myself, that's removed. That's how this knowledge of self becomes a means of moksha. Omkara is a means of self-knowledge. So Omkara also becomes a means of moksha. That Omkara Nirnaya. Therefore, ascertainment, the meaning of Omkara is meaningful. That leads to the ascertainment of knowledge of the nature of Atma, which leads to moksha. That's how this serves the purpose. Atasya Ayam Prakranam Omkara Nirnaya Avantara Phaladvarena Tattvajnane Paramafale Pariyavasyati. It's not that we are interested in Omkara. Knowing, ascertaining, Omkara is Avantara Prakarana Phalam. But that leads to Mukhya Phalam, main result of the Tattva Jnanam or Atma Jnanam. So Atma Jnanam is the main phalam of study of Upanishad. But Omkara Nirnaya leads to Atma Jnanam. Therefore, that also becomes Omkara Nirnaya is not moksha. Omkara Nirnaya leads to Atma Nirnaya, which is the means of moksha. And that way, Omkara Nirnaya also becomes a means indirectly for moksha. Iti Upadeshvashat Adhigantavyam. That's how the Vedas teach, and therefore we have to understand, accept that Omkara Nirnaya is a means of moksha through Atma Jnanam. So that is how the purport of the first chapter is explained. Omkara Nirnayaya, for ascertaining the meaning of Omkara, also called Pranava. Then Bhashyakar also explains what the purpose of the subject matter of the other chapters are. So, Anaropitam Tattvam. Upon Tattva, the Dvaita Prapancha is always superimposed, and therefore, how do you know your true nature? Yasya Dvaita Prapanchasya Upashame Advaita Pratipattihi. Dvaita Prapanchasya Upashame. When Dvaita Prapancha, there is cessation of Dvaita Prapancha, cessation of the superimposition, Advaita Pratipatti, then there is a knowledge of Advaita non-duality, because duality is, it is possible that the duality will completely cease to be there. Why? Because it is not real. What is real can never cease to be there, only unreal can cease to be there because apparent. Rajvaiva Sarapadi Vikalpa Upashame. You are right now experiencing Rajju, but with the superimposition of Sarpa. So when I say I am Sarpa, this is a snake, that this is part is a Rajju. So we are experiencing Rajju, but with Aropa of Sarpa. Therefore, Anaropitam, Aropa of Sarpa, when it goes away, then you know that the nature of the reality of this object. Rajvaiva Sarpadi Vikalpa Upashame Sarpadi. Because somebody looks upon that as snake, somebody thinks that is a garland, somebody thinks that is a stick. So different notions are there about the Rajju, and therefore Sarpadi, I myself may see it differently at different times, different people may see it differently at the same time. Sarpadi, Vikalpa Upashame, when all these Vikalpas, the Kalpanas, projections, then there is a cessation of them. Rajju Tattva Pratipatti. Therefore, the Tattva is experience. Unfortunately, with all this superimposition of duality, therefore, the Dvaita Prapancha, what is it? In case of Rajju, it is snake and the mala and all that stuff is Dvaita Prapancha. And Upashame, when that ceases to be there, then you know Rajju as Rajju. So also all this Ahankara, Mamakara and all that stuff is superimposed upon Atma. You see the Mithyatma of that ceases to be there, and you know the self as it is. Tasya Dvaitasya Hetutaha Vaitatya Pratipadanaya Dvitiyam Prakaranam. Now the rest of the chapters are full of hetu or reasoning. First chapter primarily only reveals what do Vedas say. That Veda is Pramanam. But then what the Vedas say becomes Pramanam when our intellect understands that. So intellect needs to be given the reasoning. Vedas themselves may provide a little bit of reasoning, no doubt. But still, what the Pramanam says, in this case of Shabda Pramanam, when the eyes reveal that this is Jalokara, no reasoning is required because no reasoning will work here. However, in case of Shabda, in case of the Shabda Pramanam, or when the truth is revealed through words, then it will say that the listener should understand the meaning of words in the same sense in which the speaker has intended. So we as listeners should get the intended meaning of the words. Words must be understood and sentences must be understood the same sense in which they are employed by the Shruti. And since our intellect is likely to interpret in different ways, therefore reasoning is required to understand those statements in the same tatparya, in the same sense in which they have been employed. So for tatparya nirnaya, reasoning is required. Hetutah Vaitathya Pratipadanaya. The second chapter will establish the Vaitathya, the Vitathatvam, the Mithyatvam of Dvaita, the duality, the creation. Dvitiyam Prakaranam. Because the Advaita is experienced along with the Dvaita. Therefore, the Dvaita is Mithya, essentially non-existent, and what exists as Dvaita, that has to be established. Tada Advaitasyapi Vaitathya Prasanga Prapto. Then a person can go further. That Dvaita Prapancha is Mithya, Advaita also is Mithya. That's what the Buddhas say. Buddhas also say that this is all Maya. But for a Vedanta, in Maya or superimposition must always have an Adhisthana. Niradhisthana Brahma or the delusion of superimposition cannot exist without Adhisthana with substratum. But Buddhas do not see the need of accepting substratum. They say all there is Mithya, including Atma also, there is no, is all in Kshanikam. They do not accept any abiding reality. Therefore, you apply the same reasoning, arrive at the conclusion Advaita also is Mithya. So, Advaitasyapi Vaitatthya Prasanga Prapto. That Advaitam also is Vaitatham is also Mithya. That kind of notion can come. Yuktitaha Tathatva Darshanaya Advaitasya. No. So yuktis are presented that Advaitam is real, is non-negatable substratum. So Trutiyam Prakaranam. The third chapter is called Advaita Prakaranam, where the reality of Advaita is established. Second is Vaitathya Prakaranam, where the Vaitathya, the Mithyatva of Dvaita is established. And third is the Advaita Prakaranam, where the reality of Advaita or non-duality is established. Fourth is called Alata Shanti Prakaranam. Alata is firebrand, quenching the firebrand. So when you take a firebrand in dark, you can make various shapes and you think that this is what it is. When it is quenched, then there is no shape at all. So fourth chapter is called Alata Shanti Prakaranam. Alata Dushtanta Ghatita Nyaya Prayoga Yuktam Prakaranam. Alata is Dushtanta. That firebrand, you take a stick and then there is a little flame at the end of the stick, that's called Alata, and then when you, in dark, when you rotate that, it creates various forms. So Alata Dushtanta Ghatita, that is a Dushtanta given in the fourth chapter. And how there is the quenching of that Alata eliminates all the shapes which are all imagined. So also the fourth chapter quenches all the various shapes, various theories, philosophies, various viewpoints. They're all, be shown that how they're all wrong. And that's how the Advaita is established. So, Advaitasya Tathatva Pratipatti Paksha Bhutani. Advaitasya Tathatva Pratipatti. Advaita is Advaita. So Advaita must be known as Advaita as Satyam, as Abhaditam. What is Bhaditam is Mithya, so all Dvaita Prapancha can be negated. Then we say Advaita also can be negated. I don't see anything. Buddha says that I see only Shunyam. So for him, Advaita also is negated, so Advaita also becomes Mithya. That no, Advaita cannot be negated. Advaita Tathatva Pratipatti. That Advaita is real, is non-negatable, is Adhisthana, is substratum. Vastutvam, that is reality. Tat Pratipakshatvam, there are many who are opposed to this Advaita as the non-dual, as a reality. Tathatva Pratipatti Pratipaksha Bhutani. So there are many opponents who counter this view of Advaita being the real. Yani Vadantarani Avaidikani. Because Vedika Vada is only Advitiyata. That's only Vedika Vada. Anybody who claims that Advaita is real or Advaita is not real is Avaidika. So Avaidikani, even though the Nayayikas and Sankhyas, etc., may claim themselves Vedikas because they find the source of their views in Vedas, they are not really. From the Vedas, you take one sentence here and there or some portion, then say this is Vedika. So that way, Sankhya also find a sentence in Shvetashvatara Upanishad, and Nayayikas may find in some other place, etc., and then claim that we are Vedikas, but they are not. Even the Charvaka also finds, Annam Brahmeti Vijanat, etc. So, Tasmad Vai Tasmat, no, Andarasamaya Atma, the body is Atma, there is a statement. They take that and say body is Atma, that's what your Veda says. And this is how everybody takes us, the people take one sentence. And Buddha also take a statement, Asadva idam agrasit, Asadeva idam agrasit. This was only all Asat. Asat doesn't mean non-existent, that Asat means only Mithya. And so, but everybody seems to have some sentence here and there which becomes a basis for their justifying that we are Vedikas, but they are not Vedikas. You must take the whole Veda as a whole and then you must arrive at your view. Avaidikani tesham anyona viroditvat. What happens is that each one contradicts the other. When non-duality is not the view, then duality becomes the view. I am different, the world is different, I am different, Ishvara is different. What's the relationship? Different become with different relationships. And each one condemns the other one. Each one dismisses the other one. So, tesham anyona viroditvat. So, siddhanta vyavasthashu dvaitano nischita. Dridam. Dvaitinis are dridam nischitaha in swasiddhanta. That this is how vyavastha is, this is how the reality is, that Ishvara is different and connected this way, that way, this is a different kind of relationships. They are quite firm. And parasparam virudhyante, they contradict each other. Tairayam, but Vedanta doesn't contradict because he knows where they are all coming from. Like various people go to examine what an elephant is, blind people go and come with different notions, taking part to be whole. But the sighted person doesn't contradict them, he knows where they are coming from. Tesham anyona viroditvat. Adadarthatvena. Therefore, it is mithyarthatvena. Because what is mithya? Mithya is that which can be contradicted, which can be negated. Each one negates the other fellow. So the Vedanta does not have to negate those vadas. The Sankhya will negate Nayayika. This fellow will negate somebody else, that fellow. That is, each one negates the other. You just watch. Everything remains, everything ultimately stands negated, and therefore what is negated is mithya. Adasarthatvena tadupattivyeva nirakaranaya. And therefore, what is done is that you take its own yukti. Sankhya is dismissed by yukti of Sankhya. Because in arriving at their conclusions, like Nayayikas, Sankhyas, Mimamsakas, all of them have applied some yukti of the reasoning By a reasoning process, they have arrived at the conclusion they have arrived at. They claim to be Vaidikas, but Veda is not the Pramana. For them, Yukti is the Pramana. So Sankhya also arrived at a conclusion that there are many Atmas. If Atma is one, then everybody should be happy. How come one is happy, other is unhappy, one is born, one is dying, one is bound, one is liberated? That shows that Atmas are many. So they arrived at Atma as many by this Yukti. Nayayika say that this Sukha Dukkha, all of these experience, they must have a basis in a Chaitana. In a conscious being, Atma is conscious being, there was Sukha Dukkha, etc. All Atma is Ashraya, all. So Atma is Sukha Dukkhi. So in arriving their conclusions, they have a certain reasoning process. And so take their own reasoning and show how you are wrong. So tat upatti bheva nirakaranaya. So each one is dismissed by the yukti or the reasoning process that they have adopted. Chaturtham Prakaranam. So this is the Vyavastha Bhashyakara says. We just read it and discuss it because it is in Bhashya. We are only going to study the first chapter and that only the Upanishad part. But then Omkara Nirnaya Dvarana Atmavati Upaya Bhutam Adyam Prakaranam. You said that Adyam Prakaranam Atma Pratipatti Upaya Bhutam. The first chapter is the means of the knowledge of the self. First chapter is the means of knowledge of self because self-knowledge is the means of moksha. And the ascertainment of the Omkara is the means of self-knowledge. That's what you stated. That cannot be. How can it be? He says, how can it be that you ascertain meaning Omkara and that leads to ascertain meaning Atma? How can it be? How can it be that by knowing one thing you know the other thing? By knowing Omkara that you know Atma, it doesn't make sense. न खलु अर्थांतरज्ञानम अर्थांतरज्ञाने व्याप्तिमंतरेण उपयुज्यते. It cannot be that by knowing one thing you know the other, unless there is a connection between them. Yatra yatra dhuma tatra tatra vannihi, wherever there is smoke, that is where the fire is. In that case, the knowledge of smoke leads to knowledge of fire. So it's not that one knowledge cannot lead to other, but there must be vyapti. There must be a universal connection must be there. Is there something between Omkara and Atma? न चत्र धूमाग्निव व्याप्ति उपलभ्यते. So one way to know is by vyapti or karya karana bhava. You can know the karanam through the karya or vice versa, but that relationship also is not there. The Atma is karanam, Omkara is karya, thereby knowing karya you know the karanam. That is also not there. Therefore, what you said is that Pratham Prakaranam Omkara Nirnayaya, that in the first chapter the meaning of the Omkara is ascertained because that's the means of knowledge. How can it be? How can the Nirnaya or knowing of Omkara can lead to the knowledge of Atma? How can it be? So that is what Bhashyakara explains in detail. Navayam Anumanavastambhat Omkaranidam Atma Pratipayam Upagacchamaha. He says, it is not by reasoning that we are saying that knowledge of Omkara leads to knowledge of Atma. It is because the Upanishad is Pramana. That knowledge of Omkara leads to knowledge of Atma is not what we are saying. And we are not saying based on reasoning, we are saying because that's what the Vedas say. So that's why first of all Bhashyakara established what Vedas say. How the knowledge of Omkara leads to knowledge of Atma is what Vedas say. Then this Upanishad says the same thing, is an explanation of that. So what does Mandukya Upanishad do? Mandukya Upanishad only is an explanation of what the Vedas say, that Nirnaya of Omkara leads to the knowledge of Atma. So we don't need reasoning, needs Vyapti, etc. We don't need Vyapti because Veda is the Pramana and Vedas say that Omkara leads to knowledge of Atma. So Bhashyakara says, Uchchade. The Bhashyakara quotes various statements. Omityetad comes from Kathopanishad. Tatra nrutyana nachikeda samprati omityetad vakyena brahmatvena omiti upadishtam. Sarva veda yat padamamananti tapagumsya sarvani ched vadanti hidichantu brahmacharyam chananti tatte padam sangrahena brahmimi omityetad. So, Yamaraja, before starting the Upadesha of Brahma Vidya, gives Upadesha Omkara to Nachiketa. Tatte Padam Sangrahena Bravimi, that Padam, that goal, I will tell you in brief, Om Ityeta. So, actually, what Yamaraja says, Sarve Veda Yat Padam Amananti. All Vedas reveal which Padam or which goal, which is Brahman. Tapagam Sarvani Yad, and all the people are performing many tapascharya, various karmas, for the purpose of knowing Brahman. Yadichanto brahmacharyam charanti, desiring to know which people take life of brahmacharya student, that's Brahman. Tatte padam sangrahena, that padam, that goal, I will tell you in brief, Om Ityetata. So that Padam and Omkara is equated. Brahma and Omkara are equated by Yamaraja. So how does it work? Anandagiri gives an explanation. Samahetana, I'm going into details here because this is a very important thing that Bhashyakara established. Is how the Vedas reveal that Omkara is a means of self-knowledge. And that's what this Upanishad does. Taking cue from the Vedas, this Upanishad gives an explanation of that. It's a Vyakhyanam. So it's not an independent thing. Upanishad is only a Vyakhyanam of what the Vedas reveal as Om being the means of self-knowledge. Samahitena Omkaroccharane yat chaitanyam sfurati tad Omkara samvyadeva shakachana Omkara shabdena lakshyate. Omkara is not Atma. But then when the mind is totally concentrated and Om, 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 that Uchcharanam is done, Anandagiri says that yat chaitanyam sfurati. As a result of that Omkara Uchcharanam, then for a long time, that Omkara leads to the Sfuranam, the manifestation of Chaitanyam. And therefore, Omkara is proximate to Chaitanyam. Shakha Chandranyayana. Just as Shakha or a branch leads to the knowledge of moon, even though they are not by Lakshana Vritti, so also Omkara leads to the knowledge of Atma, Chaitanyam, through, because it is most proximate. Omkara then follows the Atma Chaitanyam. Therefore, Omkara becomes the means of knowing Atma. Pratimayam Vishnu Buddhivat Omkara Brahma Buddhya Upasyamana Brahma Prajapati Upaya Bhavati. So Pratimayam Vishnu Buddhivat. Pratima is here and you have the bhavana that this is Vishnu Buddhi. What you see is Pratima and what you think is Vishnu. So superimposing the idea of Vishnu upon the Pratima. So Pratimayam Vishnu Buddhivat Omkara Brahma Buddhya Upasyamana. You repeat Om, Om, Om. Upon that you have the bhavana of Brahman. So just as you worship the Pratima with the idea of Vishnu and leads to realization of Vishnu, so also you mentally worship Omkara with the idea that is Brahman. Brahma Pratipatti Upaya Bhavati, that leads to knowledge of Brahman. And therefore, Etat Alambanam Shreshtam, Etat Alambanam Param, again Kathopanishad says that this Alambanam, this prop, this Alambanam is Shreshtam. For knowing Brahman, Omkara is the Shreshta Alambanam. Alambanam means a prop. You can call it the means. Just as for high jump, the pole becomes the alambanam, and you lift yourself with the help of the pole and then drop the pole. Similarly, you lift yourself with the help of Om, you drop it, and leads to the knowledge of Brahman. There are many other alambanas. Of them, Omkara is the Shrestha alambanam. And Omkara can be meditated upon as Apara Brahma, Saguna Brahma or Nirguna Brahma. Etadvai Satyakama in the Prashnopanishad. Param cha Aparam Brahma, yet Omkara hai Satyakama. Says Pippala that teaches that Omkara is Param Brahma as well as Apara Brahma. Nirguna Brahma as well as Saguna Brahma. Tasmad Vidvan. Etenaiva ayatanena egataram anveti. Therefore, a Vidwan or Upasaka can superimpose the idea of Apara Brahma or Omkara and realize that, or superimpose the idea of Param Brahma or Omkara and by meditation realize Param Brahma. That's what it says, that's all. Now then you have to do it to verify what it says is right. There's no reasoning. How come Omkara lead? That's what Vedas say. Etadvai Satyakama. Okay, we'll continue. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo